How did you kind of get back into comics? Were you still doing comics during this time, or was it you're like, I'm taking a break from that, and you kind of got sucked back in? What was the process there?
I think towards the end of the my time at Imagineering, it was also around the .com boom.
So this was probably early 2000s.
Or very early 2000s. Yeah. So what happened was 9/11. Tourism had beginning to dip already.
Yep.
So the tourism industry was tanking, and then 9/11 happened. So that really shut down everything, and so at that time, then like the executives came in and said, "Look, we're gonna stop all future projects." So everything that I worked on was going to take years to build because it's all very developed, early concept stages. Like, it would take 4 or 5 years to do a ride.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long process to build a ride. It's not going to happen overnight.
So, and they had just opened Disney California Adventure, right? So there was also like not a lot of work. Like everything, all the new projects had stopped. So they were going to stop all new projects. So essentially, like I was out of projects.
Yeah.
And they were going to finish whatever they had and then focus on maybe revamping whatever was existing already. So I was like, the contract had ended and didn't renew. And so now I'm at another point where, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So towards the end of that, I actually picked up a couple comic book gigs. I think that's when I was drawing Cable.
Okay. Nice.
I get it all mixed up.
And then
I did like storyboards for a little bit, advertising work.
But now you've been drawing at DC for a really long time.
Since 2008.
Since 2008.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 10 years now. What kind of brought you over to DC? And because you've done runs on Green Lantern Corps, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman Beyond, Teen Titans, like you name it. I mean, you've been everywhere and doing an amazing job at it.
Thanks. It's I kind of got back into comics. I was wavering back and forth between advertising and comics, storyboards. I've been going to a bunch of comic book conventions, mostly setting up with friends because, my buddy Sean Chen, John Paul Leon, Tom Lee Edwards, Trevor Goring, we'd all, since I was still in LA and they were like in New York or Miami or North Carolina, we didn't get to see each other a lot. So if we went to a show, and Sean was doing a lot of shows. So he was like, oh, come out and do a show, set up, and we'll just hang out and shoot the shit during the whole weekend, right? And, so, okay, all right. I had never sold any artwork before. I never really didn't do any commissions. But just come out and just hang out. So we started going to shows. And you're kind of in comics, and maybe at those shows then start doing some commissions. And then Dan DiDio came up and said, hey, am I interested in jumping back into comics and doing something for DC? So we actually had a meeting, and he was talking about maybe having me draw Teen Titans at the time.
Oh, wow.
So this was 2008.
It's kind of come full circle.
It's kind of come full circle right now. It's a nice evolution. Right?
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Teen Titans, you do such an awesome job with the artwork on the book, and just kind of like the way it's so. I mean, he was right on when he said you should be drawing Teen Titans because you're nailing it right now.
Well, thank you. But that was it was going to be my first foray back into monthly books, right? And I felt like, man, it's a team book. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You got to draw 5-6 different characters every single page. I was hoping to do a solo character book.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, what did you want? I said, well, I'm interested in maybe doing Wonder Woman. They said, well, they already have like
creative team attached.
They already have main artist attached. I said, like, hey, I don't mind being I'll be the Mariano Rivera. I'll be the cleanup, right? The relief pitcher, and the closer. You guys, he's gonna do 8 to 10 issues a year. I'll do 4.
Yep,
that's fine. So I still got the advertising stuff on the side, which is eating up a lot of time already. And that's a win-win for everyone. So that's kind of how my recent foray into DC started.
Nice. And then from there, you kind of just evolved and moved from book to book.
Yeah.